Today, we're looking at 5 pieces of software you should consider putting on your computer. Let's get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix, and today I'm talking about 5 free pieces of software you should have on your computer. There's only one rule to this whole list. It must be open source. What is open source? Let's look up the definition. According to Wikipedia, open source is a type of computer software in which source code is released under a license in which copyright holder grants users the rights to use, study, change, and distribute the software to anyone for any purpose. So what does that mean? That means that the code that they use to write the software is free to the public. You can use it however you want to use it, which is free and open source. So let's get into the first program in our list. The first program in our list is OBS. I use OBS so much in this channel. Any screen recording in past videos or videos in the future, OBS is my screen recorder of choice. But it's not just a screen recorder. You can also stream. Streaming is a huge thing. Way back in the before era, you had to have all these different programs that interacted with each other with specialty pieces of software to be able to stream, and it was a very labor intensive as far as computer resources process. Now you don't need as powerful of a computer to stream. You can put all your logins into your OBS and go. It's great recording software. It's a great streaming software, and also you have different plugins. You have plugins like closed captioning. You have plugins like you can have a guitar amp as a plugin. There's so many different things you can do with this program to one, have a really good stream or really good recording software. 2, to be inclusive like with the closed captioning. And 3, it's not just for gamers or it's not just for screen recorders. You have musicians or anything that you need to stream or record. OBS is that software for you. The next software is a browser called Waterfox. Waterfox is based on Firefox open source code. Unlike Firefox, Waterfox only collects 2 types of information. 1 is your operating system. 2, browser version. Firefox collects a little more telemetry data as far as web pages open, tabs, a couple other things. So by default, Waterfox does not ask for that information. You go to the protection dashboard and you can look and see all the things that your Waterfox browser is doing to help protect your system. Also, it has a built-in screenshot. So unlike a lot of other mainstream browsers, it has a little screenshot. Just go right to here, click on it, and now you have a screenshot that you can save and not have to pull out additional software like Snipping Tool or Snip and Sketch or GreenShot. The third piece of software is another one I use on my channel constantly, and that's Handbrake. Handbrake is an open source video converter. OBS, the software we talked about in the beginning, records to a format called MKV or FLV. And my video editor of choice doesn't like those formats. So anything I record on OBS, I take the Handbrake and convert it from MKV to an MP4 file. It does that seamlessly. It doesn't run heavy. I've been using this software for years to convert video formats from one format to a usable format that I can use. And the fact that this is free and the amount of things you can do with it, it's amazing. You wouldn't think converting video files is a big thing, but once a program you use can't use the format you have your video in, trust me, it's a lifesaver. The next piece of software is one of my absolute favorites, and it's VLC. If you don't know about VLC, VLC is a monster when it comes to media players. I've been using VLC since I was in college. I think like since 2008, 2009, right? Everything I've ever thrown at it, being a video file or a MP3 or some type of audio file, it plays it. The best thing about VLC, unlike a lot of media players, if it has some corruption, like if you have a file that has a video file that has corruption or an audio file that has corruption, instead of seeing the corruption and saying, oh, this is corrupted, I can't play it, it will actually try to play it and try to stitch something together. It'll try. So if it's something, let's say if it was an investigation. I work for a municipality, and you have different security systems in the way they put different codecs in their videos and things like that. And so knowing from store to store to security camera to security camera how this works, it's a full-time job. What VLC does for the police department is whatever you put in there, it will play. You may have to adjust it a little bit to tinker with it, but as far as taking a lot of unknown or not common formats and making them play is where VLC shines. The last piece of software is an office suite called OnlyOffice. OnlyOffice is a very robust piece of software. OnlyOffice claims to be the most compatible office suite with Microsoft Office. And from what I've seen, some people say 100%, but not in my case. Most things will open from OnlyOffice to MS Office because they have a very similar look, and they have a very similar way of how they handle their documents as far as word processing, spreadsheets, and PowerPoint. As far as compatibility, you have the things that make Office suites that aren't MS Office incompatible has to do with a lot of fonts and the way it formats. And since they use similar fonts, like those core fonts that Microsoft Office used, and the way that it formats similarly, you have less issues with compatibility. Not only is it compatible with MS Office, it's a very robust word processor. It has a very robust spreadsheets. All the formulas are the same. So if you're familiar with any type of Excel or any type of spreadsheet that has formulas, it's identical. Now, as far as the PowerPoint, the presentations version of it, it's good. Nobody's going to be able to beat MS Office when it comes to PowerPoint. That is the one thing on the Office suite they do tremendously well. But this comes close. It's really good. And to have some of the same functions as MS Office and LibreOffice and some other Office alternatives, OnlyOffice is a really good software to have on your PC. That's it. Thank you guys for joining me. If you like this type of video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this type of video, give me a thumbs down. Tell me why you didn't like this type of video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.